Hey, good morning, everybody. Trisha Turner here with another episode of Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. This morning, you guys are in for a real treat because I have got Brian Carruthers with me. If you do not know who Brian Carruthers is, you need to know. So before I ever even met him, I had already read one of his books, which is Building an Empire. If you have not read that, you need to read that. And then I met him last year when we were in Key West at a mastermind group. He was there as one of our speakers and then hung out with us for the weekend, and that was insane. This guy has been killing it for years. He does not need to work as hard as he does. He only does it because he loves what he does and he wants to help everybody. So I'm not going to say much more about Brian other than you guys get ready to take some notes and be open-minded, because he's definitely going to give you some pointers about what you should be doing and focusing on, and maybe what you should have already been focusing on through all of this Corona stuff. So welcome, Brian.
Hey, Trisha, it's great to be on with you.
Definitely great to be on with you. Give everybody a little bit of backstory about you, kind of where you are in this world and what led you up to this.
Sure. I'm here in my home office in Leesburg, Virginia. I'm bundled up. You guys can see I'm getting ready to go play a little golf, and it's going to be 45 degrees out, so a little cold. But my first window, I could kind of sneak out. My office window looks out over the 16th fairway and the Potomac River behind it. So I'm watching golfers out there every day. They're doing they're social distancing. Everybody gets their own cart. Nobody touches anybody's balls but their own. Okay, so. Anyhow, my background's in real estate. I was born into a real estate family. My parents built one of the largest real estate companies on the East Coast back in the 70s, Colquitt Carruthers, sold it to Merrill Lynch in 81. And after a 5-year non-compete, started a company again, thinking that maybe my brother and I would join him in the business, which we did after we got out of college. And so there I was in my 20s. I was grinding hard. I'm an ambitious guy. I'm wired that way. I also wanted to make my parents proud. I was rookie of the year for my county when I was 22 years old, or 21, I guess. And by the time I was mid-20s, I was making a 6-figure income. So I know what it's like to grind. I know what it's like to make good money at an early age. But I wanted to 10x my life. I wanted to, I should say, 10x my income. I wanted to make a lot more money for various reasons. A lot of it when I was young, it was just all about me. I wanted the Ferrari. I wanted a nice house. And all. Now I've got a wife and 3 boys. And so there's good reason to have, financial means as well now. But I know what it's like to be, grinding and being subject to market conditions. If interest rates changed, if the real estate market slowed down, a lot of things are outside of our control. I went to a high performance academy with Brendon Burchard several years ago. It took about 200 and some people from my team there to it. And I love Brendon Burchard. He's got a great book called The Charge. And he teaches, about the human drives. And we all have a drive for control. We all want to feel in control. And when we feel out of control, we get anxious. We feel stressed. And it could even lead to a form of depression. And so for me, one of the reasons why I wanted to make a lot of money in my life is because I wanted to be in control. I did not want to be like a whipsaw kind of going all over wherever the world. I didn't want the world to be able to do a lot to me, if that makes sense. So that's why I've been a kind of a financially or a money-driven person. And then I became an entrepreneur on the side for my real estate career. An agent one day came into my office. I was trying to hire him in Rockville, Maryland, and he told me about a side project he was working on with Legal Shield. And I'm not going to get into a lot of detail on that right now, but I saw a lot of value in the services. I became his customer on the spot, and then he talked to me about residual income. And let me tell you, Trisha, that was an eye-opener to say the least. I feel like, and you talk about the book. So I wrote Making My First 10 Million, which is my first little booklet that I wrote several years ago. And then I wrote Building an Empire on how to build a business like I do. And then Money Mindset.
Yep.
And then I wrote my most recent one, which is this one here, Untrapped, Freedom Manifesto. And the reason why I wrote Untrapped, there's another one, good. So the reason why I had to write Untrapped last year is because, and this is all pre-coronavirus situation. Last year, I got to a point after working with hundreds of thousands of people, and not only inside of my team and my company, but all over the world. I've got people that I coach in many industries and many companies in many countries, and there's a common denominator. The only way to have time freedom in your life is to be financially free.
Yep.
But if you have to keep trading your time for money, you'll never experience full and complete time freedom. I don't care if you're making $10 an hour at Chick-fil-A, $100 an hour as a massage therapist, $400 an hour as an attorney billing hours, or $20,000 per surgery as a doctor. If you're trading your time for money, or $10,000 per house as a real estate agent, right?
Yes.
You're trading your time for money. And if you have to continue to feed the addiction, which the addiction is not a bad addiction, but an addiction, you need money. You need your next financial fix. You need another paycheck. Then you're never fully you never experience time freedom the way that in the ultimate way. And so when I learned about passive residual income, I couldn't undo it. I couldn't unhear what I heard. So I had to spend some time on the side. My favorite author and business coach of all time, Jim Rohn, he always said, you work hard all day at your job to earn a living, but you should be working spare time, nights or weekends, building your fortune.
Yes.
And I would say a residual fortune.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm a complete champion of residual income. If anybody follows me on Instagram, by the way, Real Brian Carruthers, I don't sit there posting pictures of my meals or my family or trips. I post stuff that is aspirational and educational about entrepreneurship, wealth building, freedom through residual income. That's what I'm a champion of. There's not enough people championing the idea. And so, and by the way, most people don't know what residual income is, because if they did, they go through a brick wall in order to get some. Residuals, guys, you do something one time, yet you get paid over and 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 over for what you did one time. So an insurance agent sells an insurance policy one time, they get paid renewal income automatically when those policies automatically renew every year, whether they talk to you again or not. I love that idea. I didn't want to be an insurance agent, but I love the idea of the residual part of it, right? That's why I had to get into Legal Shield, because in real estate, I could hustle my next house sale. I can get another commission check. Sometimes there's space in between, which can be a little daunting, but my whole life was real estate. My side life, my entrepreneurial life, was the Legal Shield, and I'm happy to tell you, I've been able. Not only have I been able to make tens of millions of dollars by doing that as an entrepreneur with Legal Shield, but it's so awesome to be able to share and educate, the idea, and help other people to put themselves on a path to get that kind of residual. It's so cool. I like to say that residual income gives kids their parents back.
So for you, when you were in the real estate industry, how long have you been out of the real estate industry?
I'm out as far as I don't sell anymore.
Right.
And that's been for 20 years. But
20 years, okay. And have you been doing Legal Shield all that time since?
Yes. Yeah. Legal Shield's been my number one thrust. And, Robert Kiyosaki, in his Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and his Four Quadrant books. And I hope that everybody's read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, it's like, I've got my 13-year-old son reading it. I mean, everybody should read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Definitely.
So he talks about the E, the S, the B, and the I, the different 4 quadrants. And everybody lives in one of those quadrants. And a 60-second tutorial on this. The E quadrant, if you're an employee, you're trading your time for money working for somebody else. So a lot of people say, well, I'm never going to get freedom here, so I'm going to go be an a small business owner. I want to self-employed. But mostly when you're self-employed, you still have a job. You might own the job, but you still have a job. If you don't work, you don't get paid. That happens to me as a real estate agent. And a lot of other people own a traditional, typical business. They're self-employed, and again, trading their time for money. So then on the B quadrant, on the other side, the B quadrant is a big business owner who's got leverage, got a lot of people working for them, earning, OPE, other people's efforts. And that's where you got leverage. Okay. And then you got, if you're a real estate broker and you've got hundreds of people on your team selling houses, you're getting a little piece. That's a B quadrant business. That's great. And I know that EXP, for example, has that. And then you got the I, the investor. So I made the shift.
Sorry, my dog is in here.
Yeah. I mean, back in my early days, I mean, I worked at Hardee's. I worked at Popeye's fried chicken. I worked at a toy store. I worked delivering Chinese food. I was 3 years as a dishwasher at a Mexican restaurant. These were during the summer times. So I know what it's like to have a job in the E quadrant. It's not for me. Then I became a real estate agent, and then I was in the S quadrant, and that was great. You know, I was hustling hard, but getting into the B quadrant is everything. And I got into the B quadrant not so much through real estate, but through the Legal Shield business model, and all the money that comes in, it allows me to be an investor. And when money is making you money while you're sleeping, or like Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank always says, I want to send my money out into the world and have it come back with friends.
I love that.
That's what I like to do. So that's what for the last 20 years I've been creating that cash cow. That cash flow keeps coming in, and then I deploy that money into investments and let my money grow for me.
And with Legal Shield, you can work from home. You do work from home, right?
Yeah, that's what's kind of interesting. So, everybody during this coronavirus, crisis that we're in right now, and it is a serious thing. It's more serious than a lot of people are giving credit to it. Not just medically. Medically, of course, my heart goes out and my prayers go out to anybody who's affected, loved ones that are getting sick, and some of them are passing away, and it's just horrible. I think the economic impact is going to be felt for a long time. The stock market might bounce back, and many businesses will reopen, but unfortunately, some businesses, people put their dream was to start a business for themselves, a traditional business, and
I know
many of them, their doors won't open again.
No,
those employees will find another job, because those employees have to do it. They go find another employer. They find another dreamer that started a business. They'll go get employed by another dreamer. But a lot of dreams are being shattered right now, and I feel really bad about that. The other thing is, talking about your question to me, working for myself from home all this time with Legal Shield. Yes, I work from home every day. So this is nothing new. I've been doing this for 21 years. A lot of people are this is a new thing for most people.
Oh yeah.
And for some people, it might become the new normal. I mean, some people are going to be doing a lot more business through Zooms and different things more than they ever did in the past. It's interesting for me, though. I've got my wife, Melissa, in the other room right now taking care of. We've got a boy that just turned 3 yesterday, Colton, and we have a 1-year-old, about almost 1.5. So we got a 1.5 and a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old. And
oh my gosh.
So when they can't go out because of some of the, they were supposed to be all staying inside right now, I have to kind of shelter myself. I got barricades up, little shock collars. Hey, let daddy out. I'm doing Zooms, and my 3-year-old walks in the room and he wants to talk and play. And I'm like, hey, this is the power of being a home-based dad, right? So anyway, I've been doing this for 20 years.
With everybody out there, and I know there's a lot of people that have maybe lost their jobs, or maybe their businesses are struggling because of everything that's going on right now. There's always a solution, Like I went to a forecast that was going to tell us what the next decade was going to be like in business, and cybersecurity is supposed to be one of the things that's going to explode over this next decade. So I'm, of course, part of Legal Shield with you. I'm on your team because it's a side thing for me, too, because you can't have just one stream of income, especially in times like this, And so for everybody out there that maybe feels despair and they're at home and they have lost their job, there is always a way. What would you tell them?
Well, first of all, opportunities are abound right now. In times like this, most of the most successful businesses that we all are familiar with and are customers of started in a downtime. And that doesn't just sound good to say. I mean, that's legit. Like I've seen some writings and some studies that show that some of the most successful companies, that those entrepreneurs started not during the good times, not when everything was already great in their lives and they didn't need to do something. A lot of times businesses start out of a need, like people like they're there's some kind of dislocation in job life, and they say, hey, heck with this, I'm not gonna be subject to this anymore. I'm gonna go start my own thing.
Right.
Like there's millions of people right now that are saying, oh my God, I used to want to have a secure job and secure benefits. Well, if you believe in job security, then you probably still believe in the Easter Bunny. There is no job security, and I tongue in cheek maybe, but I don't mean to be glib about it. At the end of the day, people's lives are at stake, and so everybody should have a plan B.
Yes.
If your plan A just got dislocated because of this virus, and you didn't have a plan B, I'm not here to say, oh, yeah, I told you so. Well, first of all, we've never talked, right? So I couldn't have ever told you so. So I don't want to be that person. I want people to learn, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? It's like,
Definitely.
We have to learn lessons. Failures are not bad unless you don't learn from the failure, so you don't have to repeat them. And so if you have one form of income, one stream of income from whatever you do, if you're a real estate agent like Trisha, or if you're whatever you do, you need to have an additional income stream. Now, people say multiple income streams. I'm also not a believer in multiple income streams.
Okay.
In the way that some people say it. Like multiple income streams, people are like, oh, I need to have 6 different businesses going on. No, you chase 6 rabbits, you won't catch any of them. So I believe you have a job or a career, your main career, and then you have a side business, like a home-based business that does have passive residual cash flow attached to it. And then from there, you can have investments. Like I've got income streams like dividend income and appreciation and all kinds of different things from my stocks, bonds, real estate, and everything else. So you can have income streams that are passive, but you can't be trying to be in several different projects because you have to be doing a toggle all the time throughout the day. Okay, I'm going to spend a half an hour on this one, a half an hour on this one, you're going to be a mile wide and an inch deep, and you won't excel in any of them.
No.
So I think it's really important that people dig the well before they're thirsty. When was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Like right now, so that in the future you've got a tree that's got fruit on it. So I just think right now is the time for people to reflect. Unfortunately, it's sad to say that most people spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than they do planning their life. Like, have you ever sat down, and all of you guys listening, have you ever sat down, you or if you have a spouse, significant other, have you sat down and just had a discussion and decided, here's what I want our lives to look like. Like, here's what let's plan it out. Let's not let life just happen to us. Let's make life how we want it. And if you actually take time while you're cocooned in with this virus anyway, take the time right now to say, how do we want our lives to go? I mean, our lives are, my 13-year-old was like 1, like yesterday. The last 12 years has flown by. Our lives are going by in a flicker. And so it's time right now. I think sometimes God, I'm not saying that God did this. Okay. That's not what I'm saying, but sometimes things happen in life to maybe cause us to slow down.
Yep.
It's like slow down to speed up.
Absolutely.
And we're always just a mile a minute. Like, slow down. What do you want life to be like? Reset, and then go.
Yes.
And that's the time to do that. This is a reset opportunity.
I love that. And that's exactly what people should be doing out there. Like with Legal Shield, because it is working from home, you don't have to be a highly skilled person to go and be successful at this. You literally just have to put in the work, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and if you want to chat about Legal Shield for a second, I'm happy to do that. And for somebody who says, here comes a sales pitch, there's no sales pitch here.
No.
My sales pitch for anybody is, I don't care what it is, find a side business that has passive residual cash flow attached to it. And if you like that particular business, run with it.
Yep.
Give it every bit of attention that you can possibly squeeze out of your life to give to that, and go. Okay. Yeah. I'm not here to tell you, hey, you should join me in Legal Shield. But what I will say is, the goodness that I found myself in Legal Shield was not just that there were 2 massively needed services. If you can solve problems in people's lives, then you deserve to get paid very well. Well, giving people access to the legal system and access to legal help whenever they need it for pennies on the dollar, and giving people access to identity theft protection and privacy protection in this day and age where identity theft is rampant, those 2 services are something I feel like I can get behind. As a real estate agent, I can offer a value add to my clients, but it's not just a real estate play. Everybody, I can monetize and add value to anybody I meet anywhere across US and Canada. So the services were great. The compensation plan pays huge money up front every time you sign somebody up, and the residual income for life on every customer. I'm getting paid residuals right now from people I signed up 21 years ago. Still getting paid monthly residuals every single month. Every day I get deposits. But here's the most important thing. It's mentorship. So I speak on stages now with Tony Robbins, Richard Branson, Eric Worre, Grant Cardone, Lou Holtz, Harvey McKay, Magic Johnson, Pitbull. Just amazing associations I've been able to just get around those kinds of people. And I can tell you the most valuable, I heard this at a conference I spoke at last year at GoPro. The most valuable thing you'll ever find in your life is a mentor. And I ask people all the time, hey, who's your mentor? Oh, my mom or my dad. No, that's your parents. Who's your mentor? Mentor is somebody who has achieved greatness in whatever your chosen path is and is willing to turn around and lock arms and guide you down that path to do what they did. And most people don't have a mentor. You know what I found in network marketing and Legal Shield? Right. That after I came into this company, I was green. I had no idea what to do with Legal Shield. I was good at real estate, but Legal Shield. I didn't go to school for Legal Shield. I didn't dream about Legal Shield in the sandbox. But you know what I found? There were people that were wildly successful, already making 7 figures a year passively from home, that were willing to show me what they do. You know why? Because there's a true alignment of interest. Yeah. I mean, if you're an incredible loan officer or an incredible real estate agent or incredible at what you do, why would you tell anybody else your secret sauce so they can go scoop up your market share and take your customers? Right. There's no alignment of interest in most industries, most companies. But with Legal Shield, what I found is people that mentored me. They wanted me to win. They wanted me to even be better than they were. Why? Because the company paid them override income. The better I did, the more money I made. So that alignment of interest that existed, and it gave me access to mentors. And so the person who I am now is different than the 28-year-old that walked into this company. I'm a different person. I've made a shit ton of money, but I've also grown a lot. Based on my language, I've grown a lot. But I've grown a lot. I've become a better leader, a better friend, a better team player, a better father, a better husband, a better friend. I've become better in all areas of my life just because I got around the environment of personal development and personal growth. And that's, I say Legal Shield is not just a way for somebody to have a side business to make some cash flow and have another stream of income. It's a way to grow yourself. I did not, by the way, find personal development in real estate. Yeah, you can go learn from trainers and how to go out and get more listings and call FSBOs and maybe even recruit agents. But personal development, the place I found it is in the network marketing space. It is just a whole bunch of people that are just all about personal growth and teamwork and camaraderie, and everybody can win together. That's the biggest unsung hero of this whole scenario.
It's so true. And it's the people that you get around, and then they inspire you and they motivate you. And of course, they encourage you to do more and be more. I'm sorry, my dog is in here. Sorry. Hey, Brian, what would be 3 things that you could tell people that they should be focusing on over the next 30, 60, 90 days? If they're in a hole, how to get out of this coronavirus, what should they be doing?
Well, I'm having conversations daily with people about this. Talked to somebody yesterday who is unemployed, so he lost his job, which I got sympathy for that. It's a tough situation where life is just cruising along, and all of a sudden you hit a wall, like people are hitting right now. So I would say, go get a job. If you can find a job that you like and enjoy, and you can get back into a place where you've got some sense of some normalcy, go get a job if you can find one. Maybe it might be hard to get one until other companies start opening up and start hiring again. Sure. Maybe people but whether you have a job right now or not, get into a side business from home. Yep. If you have a negative feeling towards network marketing, and here's what I want everybody to understand. I hear people that love network marketing because they or somebody they know, their lives are amazing because they started a home-based business through network marketing, and they've got a team they're building, and they're selling a product or a service, and they feel so great about it, and they're just enjoying it, and they're making great monay. But then I talk to people from time to time, and they're like, "Oh, that's a pyramid scheme," or "Oh, that's a scam," or whatever. I want to, if anybody's watching this right now and is thinking that, I want to know, what is your story? What's the story behind that? Because, and you got people, some of the greatest minds and investors and business owners of all time, the Warren Buffetts of the world that own network marketing companies, a way to bring products and services to the marketplace and to develop a sales force. The business model is a great business model. So if somebody feels, oh, I got burned by a network marketing company, what's the story behind that? Yeah. Did the company, what was it, a bad company, like a bad owner, a bad management? Did they lie to you? Did they not pay you what you should have gotten paid? Did they steal from? I mean, I don't. Did your sponsor make promises that they didn't deliver on? Like, hey, if you sign up, I'm going to help you, and then they just went ghost on you.
Right.
People. You can't paint an industry or a business model with this broad brush. I mean, you throw the baby out with the bathwater because, oh, my uncle's cousin's best friend's sister got into Amway 30 years ago and she didn't make any money. And so the whole industry's bad. It's like, I think people need to just wise up and stop just repeating the narrative that they heard fourth or fifth hand from somebody else. If you had a bad, look, it's like if you got married and it didn't work out and you had to get divorced, does that mean the whole institution of marriage is bad? Of course not. You just didn't pick right the first time. It just didn't work out, right? You didn't know. You tried. Well, if you tried a home-based business before, and if it didn't work out, are you throwing the whole idea of wealth and time freedom and all that? Are you throwing it out the window, throwing the baby out with the bathwater? I would say, guys, wake up. Stop just being a sheep, repeating somebody else's narrative or some narrative that you've held on to for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
Now is the time to reevaluate your life. And if you want time freedom, you need to get residual income. And if you don't have a business model you're in right now that's got it, there are network marketing businesses that provide the opportunity, like Legal Shield does for me and for you, an opportunity to get residual income. You build it for a couple of years and you can live off that residual income for the rest of your life. I can stop this business today, never work another day in my life, and 10, 20, 30 years from now, that residual income will keep coming in like it has for the last 21 years. That is called peace of mind. That's called when I go out in 10, 20 minutes, I'm going to be on the golf course. Guess what? I'll be out there hitting that ball, whether I have a good day or bad day on the golf course. It's still always a good day because I'm not worried about finances.
No. And again, it's leaving a legacy for your kids too, building an empire like your book did. You know, your book Untrapped, when just so you guys all know, he gave it to us at the mastermind there. I read that book on the airplane ride home in its entirety. It's one of the best books I've ever read, just so you know.
Oh, thank
Loved
you.
that book. I've read it multiple times.
Yeah, you asked one last piece of advice, and I'm not here to sell books. Okay, I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just doing this interview with a friend. But get the book Untrapped by yours truly, and whether it's on Audible. If you can stand my voice, I read it myself in the studio. So get it on Audible. If you can't stand my voice, just get the paperback. I promise you, it is going to be an eye opener, and you're going to feel more exhilaration about life. Because now you're gonna have a light bulb moment. You're gonna say, oh my gosh, what have I been doing for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What have I been building? What have I been setting myself up to be able to one day be able to retire financially free? Yeah. And when then you have that light bulb moment, you might say, oh my gosh, this is daunting because I've got a lot of work to do in my life. Well, guess what? At least the awareness has been raised and you know the clear path, and now you can have at it and have a lot of fun building it.
You know, the beauty of that too, just kind of to take off on that, when, like, I have a 22-year-old, he's doing his own thing, he's an entrepreneur, and I said the beauty in starting a business is that you always want to make sure it's something that can't be obsolete years from now, you know, like so many things are becoming because of now the coronavirus. Some businesses may not open back up after this, you know, people may be out of a job of what they used to have just 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago. And so it is what it is. You can't do anything about that. So when you're going to reevaluate things and relook at things, look at something that's going to grow, something that can't be taken away from you. A home-based business, something like Legal Shield. In real estate, they've tried to take us out of the game. They'll never take us out of the game. So for us as business owners, there's security in that, you know, period. It's huge. Thank you so much for being here today. I know you got to go play golf. And that cold weather there.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, tell everybody how they can find you, how they can find one of your books, how they can get a little bit more information about Brian Carruthers and learn a little bit more about how to live like you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Yeah, check me out on Facebook, on Instagram at Real Brian Carruthers. Go to briancarruthers.com and you can see where you get the books. I've got all 4 of my books on there. I've got training programs on there for anybody who's in our particular industry. You know, I've got a lot of people that utilize that stuff. And by the way, you know, we may never do business together, and that's fine. But if you want to follow what I do, and just, you know, if you enjoy anything about what I've shared today, as far as just the mindset, I mean, it all starts with philosophy, then attitude, philosophy, mindset, attitude, and then the activity, the results, and the lifestyle follow. If you don't have the lifestyle you want, it means you haven't gotten the results. You haven't gotten the results because you haven't put in the right activity or enough of the right activity. And you haven't done that because you haven't had the right attitude. And the attitude is, comes from having the right mindset, which is basically anchored in your philosophy. So if you like my philosophical underpinning of what I'm about, then again, follow me and maybe I can inspire you in some way, shape, or form in whatever you guys choose to do as your path. But I just want to see everybody, I live in a mindset and a land in my mind of abundance, not lack or scarcity. There's enough room for space for everybody to win, whether it be in real estate and legal shield and whatever you do, everybody can win. So I just hope everybody gets through the crisis with everybody in your family and all your friends being safe and healthy. And we'll come through it. It may be a little while. I think it's going to be a little longer than people were anticipating. And if that's the case, take time to find a business you can build from home, read a lot of good books, self-discovery. I think it'll be a huge opportunity. People are going to come out of this stronger than when we came in.
I agree 100%. Thank you so much for being here, Brian.
Absolutely. Great seeing you.
You too. You guys have a great day. Bye, y'all.